All right. Hello again. I'm going to be looking at the MuseScore code, and I've also got MuseScore open. And as I mentioned last time, I've been bit by bit fixing a bunch of the audio video issues I've been having with the stream. Hopefully today the video capture should be in sync with the audio. I figured out that there was an issue with the encoder that I was using on my camera. So hopefully that works well. If that does not work well, please let me know. So I'm looking at their GitHub, and they have, I see it's mostly in C++ somewhere. I saw that. Here you go. And there's some C, and then just kind of some additional languages that kind of just round out things like utilities. And I guess what I'm most curious about is where they do the music stuff, kind of the code that handles things like music notation. Here we are in notation. Playback, actually playback might be interesting. And then there should presumably be a bunch of MIDI stuff. And I don't know where that is, but let's take a look at common scene engraving. I wonder if that's things like note shapes. Instrument scene. And what is learn? So we'll just take a look at it. And maybe before we dig too much into the code, we can try to at least take a look at what MuseScore is up to. So this is the interface of MuseScore 4, which I think I'm hopefully looking at the code of. Let me double check. Okay, this is 6 hours ago. I think this is 4. So it looks like this. It's got notation goes up here, and it's got a piano keyboard down here. And I think if I press buttons, sound should play. I might have to hit note input maybe. Okay, yeah, so as I play notes, they're showing up as quarter notes. I don't know if I click, I don't think there's a way of clicking fast, but I imagine I can change my note head somehow. So, or at least, okay, up here on the top, I get some ability to change notes. So let's try eighth notes. And then you can, I kind of, oops, that's not what I meant to do. I wonder if I can nudge this sharp out of, there we go. And then you can play it back. So somewhere there should be a, all right, there we go. And let me pull up this doc real quick. Cool. So this is what's going on, and you should be able to change, let's see, instruments. Wait, where did my chat doc go here? There we go. So, and then let's see, I think I was going to show instruments. So we have piano. I guess I can add a new instrument. How about an oboe? And I don't know where it goes. So if I add, let's see, order orchestra. So do I drag it over here? Oh, I think I click on this. And there's that adds a staff of some sort. And I can add an oboe line. Maybe I have to do add notes or note input. All right, and then we can listen to into that. Listen to that all together. Maybe. All right, so it doesn't sound great because I haven't properly composed anything. I'm just kind of clicking at random. But that's sort of what MuseScore is up to. And I want to kind of take a look at how they put this all together. So what are the hard parts? So one of the hard parts of writing a program like this is getting the music notation to look correct. There's a bunch of rules that go into things like, how do you render triplets, or if there's a rest here, how do you do the bar on the eighth notes, or like what is these two eighth notes are connected by a bar, and that angle has to be correct, or you get kind of weird looking music notation that wouldn't necessarily be wrong, but when a musician looks at it, they would think it looks clunky and bad. And so one of the hard parts is the notation, and I imagine that might be what they call engraving, because I think that I've heard musicians talk about engraving. So let's take a look at what's going on in the engraving tab. In fact, I'm going to pull this out into its own frame. Let's see. Style, engraving module, engraving project, and engraving font provider. So I just want to kind of take a look at some of these. So you've got page style, style def. We'll take a look at style def and text style. All right, engraving module. Okay, so this is, we're registering some functions here. This is maybe a font. TTF, I'm pretty sure, is a font. So Leland, I'm not sure what that is. So let's look that up. Leland font. I'm wondering what I'm wondering is whether this is a music specific font. Did I misspell Leland? I think it's supposed to be Leland, right? The D. Okay. So this seems to be a MuseScore font. The Leland music fonts. They were developed for MuseScore composition, and you can install them. So what are they, like if I look at this, can I view raw? I don't know if this is a text document or like a bit image. Oh, OTF. Let's look at what an OTF file is. It's an open type font, contains data in table format used for rendering text. Okay, so it's some table of data. Okay, so they've got their own fonts, which makes sense. I would imagine that's kind of one of the things that differentiates MuseScore from other pieces of software, is that they've put in the work to have nice fonts. Okay, so now I'm looking at engraving font.h. I'm not sure what the I stands for. Maybe an interface? I'm not sure. Okay, so we've got metrics like width, height, advance. I'm not sure what advance is. We've got some, what I assume are bounding boxes, and that are rectangle Fs, rect Fs. Smuffle. I'm not sure what Smuffle is, but I think I saw that in another file. Maybe let's look up Smuffle. Standard music font layout. Okay, wow. So there's standard music font layout. Most fonts containing musical symbols use a glyph layout that was first introduced in 1985 with Adobe's Sonata font, which accommodates fewer than 200 basic symbols. Okay, cool. About, let's see what it's about. We get a history of music fonts. The aim of the standard music font layout is to provide the basis for music font mapping for the age of Unicode and open type fonts. All right. Okay, cool. I don't know what it looks like. Oh, I guess we can click on fonts. All right, this is nice. This is pretty. This looks like legitimate music. It kind of, I don't know how to describe it because I don't know anything about fonts, but this kind of looks like handwritten. There's something about this that makes it look like a little bit like music notation from before the computer era, when I assume it was all engraved. Actually, let's take a look at music engraving. There must be a fun. It is fun. Thank you, ink specialist. Let's take a look at music. I don't know if they have the history of music engraving, but okay, here. Is this a video? I hope it's not massively loud. Okay. All right, so this guy's got, I guess this thing is scoring the what is it, 5 lines of the staff.
1, 2, 3.
Okay, so this is how it was done in the old days. This looks tedious. Can you imagine doing like a whole Stravinsky score, and then you make one mistake, and then you've got to like redo the whole plate?
Satzkasten und schnapp.
Okay, so that's cool. That's definitely painstaking. Okay, so all right, awesome. So we've got engraving fonts, and it's got this Smuffle anchor. So I'm guessing that it's using the Smuffle library or database or whatever you want to call it of music font information. We've got a class painter that is just hanging out in its own namespace. I can't even write this stuff in pencil. Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think I can either. Like if you look at jazz fake books, I think those are often written in I feel like I've seen some that look like they're written by hand. I'm not sure. This is probably a computer, but yeah, it's hard. Music notation is hard to deal with. Okay. Engraving fonts provider. So this is some sort of provider or service that I guess that provides fonts. So we've got add font, set fallback font, and is fallback font. And then load all fonts. Okay. Cool. Engraving module. So maybe this is where the magic happens or not. Let's see. Okay, so we've got public modularity. iModule setup. I don't know what this means. Modularity. Okay. So we've got register exports, resolve imports, register resources, register UI types, on init and on destroy. Okay. I still don't have a sense of what is actually doing the laying out. So here's the implementation of the engraving module. So exports, engraving configuration as configuration. Here are the fonts that I saw before. So it's just got a bunch of fonts kind of hard coded into the binary, and we're going to insert a bunch of fonts. This seems like this could possibly be something that you load as data, as opposed to being directly in the C++. But I think there's a lot to say about for not over optimizing stuff like this and just putting it in the code if there's not a lot to it. Okay. This is not some say so we're going to call MScore init, which inits lib MScore, and then we're going to set nudge steps to 0.1 and set nudge step 10 to 1.0, which seems like it's just 10 times the first nudge step. And then nudge step 50 is a 10th of the first. I don't know why. And I'm also not sure what nudging means. So, if I nudge a note, is it Is that whoa, I forgot this was playing. Let me try turning off. Okay, insert. Okay, so is that nudge, or are they talking about nudging it like sonically? Because I think that there's a way to say like, oh, this should not be, what is this, A440 or whatever. It should be like a 441 or whatever. I'm not sure. I'm not sure specifically what they're nudging. All right. Oh wait. Yeah. Okay. Engraving had its own window. Okay. So let's see. Text style. So this is setting specific font properties like offset, color, alignment, all of that sort of. I'm not sure what it's called in the font world, but kind of maybe like the font metadata. And this is all basically data. Cool. Primary styles. And then text style has stuff like font style, color. Okay. Style def. All right. So script interface. Begin Qt registered enum. I don't know what script interface is. I'm wondering, does MuseScore have scripting? Like plugins? I don't know. Okay, so you've got a big enum, and it's got a bunch of stuff like page width, page height, staff upper border, the sort of things that you would associate with basically like a style sheet. Like if you know HTTP, this would be kind of, I guess maybe this would be stuff that goes in a cascading style sheet, or a lot of this stuff would be familiar if you've ever used LaTeX to typeset documents. Vertical alignment. Okay, so this is all like layout stuff. Cool. That's not surprising that that's in engraving /style. And here's more styly layout stuff. Okay. So let's see. Engraving, infrastructures, internals, layouts, libmscore, playback. So why is playback in engraving? We've got a playback context. Let's, I guess, look at that. A playback model, playback setup, update, solver, and rendering context. Okay, so let's take a quick look at these. We've got a score, a note, an engraving item, a segment, an instrument, and a repeat list. These are just classes, I guess. And the playback model is going to do this inject thing. Inject engraving. Is this like dependency injection maybe? Inject engraving, MPE, profiles repository. So something profile related. And then here's kind of like the controls. So like, just like your stereo or whatever has controls. This has play repeats enabled. Play repeats. So this is just kind of Boolean, whether we're repeating stuff. I don't know if this is called when it encounters a repeat notation. Like somewhere in here, I should be able to find notation for the repeat symbol. I can add a triplet. How do I add a triplet? Can I make something that already exists a triplet? No, but I can maybe. So we can go back and hear that. Okay, cool. You know what we should do though is let's pause it. Here's repeats. Loop playback. I think that's probably what repeats is. I wonder if I can select all of these notes and delete them. Okay. And then maybe we can have a nicer song with the oboe. No, it's too low. I see. So the reason they have, let's see, the reason they have that you have to toggle on note input is that I guess you can click around. But can I enter a chord? I'd like to enter a chord. I can do a slur. I guess I'll have to come back for chords. That's too low. How do I get higher? Can I like scroll the piano? That might be good. That was not intentional, but it might be good. Let's just. It just kind of sounds like you're practicing your scales. So let's not do that. Let's toggle off note. And it would be nice if I could, oh, maybe I just need to make this window bigger. Okay, there we go. And we'll just do whole notes. All right. How does that sound? All right. Not as awful as it did before. And then we can add some oboe. Wait, how do I do toggle? And I want to be on oboe. And how do I select the measure? Hey now, not that. Oh, maybe, maybe if I double click it. I believe this is possible. Oh, okay. I think I'm good to go now. Oops. All right. I meant for this to be eighth notes, but maybe it'll be okay. I feel like I don't know this. Let me turn off note input. I don't know this interface. I don't know if I mentioned this, but I've never used MuseScore before. But what I would like to do is just select this. I guess I'm already here. So all right, so Ink Specialist says they've used it and found it pretty unintuitive. Yeah, you know what? I tried. I downloaded it. I had a version of MuseScore 2 that I had downloaded before I started the stream, and I found that super hard to use. This seems better, but this doesn't have a piano roll yet. So let's hear our composition. Wait. All right. Not bad. I feel like maybe these shouldn't have been eighth notes, but that's okay. And this whole note is not being drawn out, and there should be some chords there or whatever. Okay. So I mean, it's not bad to use. I guess you do have to have a rhythm of you kind of have to have it under your muscle memory. in order to do things. And so there's a question of like how well thought out are the keyboard shortcuts, and I don't know the answer to that. I think that part of it depends on what other music composition software uses, and they obviously they have to maintain backwards compatibility. So whatever they decided for MuseScore 1, I'm just curious to see how long this software has been around. 2011, 12 years ago. That's not that's relatively recent, I think, in the world of open source Linux software. Okay, so let's go back to the code. So we've got some tick boundaries that I'm assuming are from a clock. What am I looking at? Playback model. Okay. Track boundaries and some ID key stuff. Instrument track ID. Okay. So there's maybe a little bit more I don't think I would normally expect tick boundary stuff to be like a struct to be declared in the playback model header file. But that's okay. I think maybe I would have expected the struct to be declared in something about timing or ticks, and then it, if needed, to be referred to it in this file. All right, so has to reload tracks, clear expired tracks, remove events from range. So there's like a bunch of stuff in here. So we've got tracks, and also like the maybe you would call this the transport stuff, like play. Is rewind in here? Playback model, playback events renderer. So maybe the right way to think about this is like different configurations of what the playback transport can do, and it's like having a configurable stereo that in this class is maybe like taking care of some of the configuration, possibly. I don't know. Okay. Rendering context. Maybe I skipped over this. Let's see. Nominal note context, beats per second tempo. We've got timestamps and durations, voice IDs. Okay, so the rendering, let's see, the rendering context has a bunch of stuff like tempo, user velocity fraction. I think maybe this is like velocity in the MIDI sense of like how hard are you hitting the note. And we've got a chord context. Real is equal. Real is equal. So I'm assuming that there's like a non-real. A non-real is equal. I don't think it's imaginary is equal, because I don't think that you would use complex numbers in music software, but maybe they do. But I assume real means like we're comparing something to a float, right? So when equality for floats, there's a lot of different ways of thinking about it, depending on what you're trying to achieve. Is note playable? That's a good question. If not note play, we return false. Okay. Otherwise, we get the note tie back, and I'm not sure what a tie back is. And if tie, we see if we can start. Oh, we see if maybe it is a start note or an end note. And if it's not, we return false. If it's neither, I guess. If it's not, or it's not, then we return false. And then we're going to, this comment says, checking whether the last tied note has any multi-note articulation attached. If so, we can't ignore such note. And so if not note tie for, we're going to check if it's a multi-note articulation. We want this to be true in this conditional, and we want is ranged articulation to be false? And if it is a multi-note articulation and it's not a ranged articulation, then we return true. I don't really know what these are, but somehow these must interfere with the playability of the note. And then we get chord first chord as starting to be tie start note chord, and chord last chord is tie end note chord. And we're going to, ultimately what we want to know is whether the note is playable. And we're going to say, it's, of all this stuff, if we get to the bottom, then it's playable if the first chord doesn't contain equal tremolo from the last chord. Huh. Okay. I have no idea what any of that is doing from a musical point of view. I'm mildly curious. I wonder if GitHub search is going to allow me to search for things today. Let's see if it could find. Oh, look, contains equal tremolo. Okay, so rendering context chord. All right, chord. I'm not sure. Okay, so we have this boolean in chord.h. Maybe let's look in chord. Do you think they call it CPP? Hey, look at that. Okay, but it's not doing anything there. I don't know. Let's see where else equal tremolo is. Contains equal tremolo. There must be, yeah, it should be here. Maybe I just did a wrong search. Equal tremolo. Contains equal, yeah, okay. Oh, so we're just comparing tremolo of one with tremolo. But what is the tremolo? Is it just applying a tremolo effect? I spelled tremolo wrong. Tremolo. Okay. So tremolo is a pointer to a tremolo object. So somewhere there should be a tremolo class, right? Let's see if we can find it in this directory. We have a tremolo bar. Here we go. Tremolo.h. It'd be nice to have like a few more code comments, maybe. Okay, we've got an object allocator that has an engraving and a tremolo. Tremolo type. Some chord stuff. So a tremolo is a kind of, is this, it's a kind of engraving item. So is this the tremolo notation? Okay. So it's these three equal bars. Let's see if we can add some tremolos. I wish I knew how to input a chord. Maybe, is there add chord, add tuplets, measures, frames, lines. Oh, okay. Add C to chord. Okay. All right. I don't know how to add a chord, but I can take this clef, signatures, tempo, pitch, accidentals, dynamics. Is it an articulation? I can slur some stuff. Let's slur all this stuff. How do I? Do I take it off note insert? Oh, okay. Huh, weird. So I want to grab this, and it's, I guess, acting on whatever note I had highlighted. Can I highlight this note? No, I don't want to add notes. So can I, let's see. Is there a tool for selecting, transpose, explode, implode, realize chord symbols, voices, measures? Fill with slashes. What does fill with slashes do? I don't know what that did. Okay, there we go. If I hold select, it looks like I can. Okay, so now we can slur all those notes. That's fun. And then let's crescendo. Hey now, can I crescendo or what? So this is a decrescendo, I think. Oh no, that's an accent. Where's dynamics? Here we go. Oh, okay, let's see. If I grab one of these, it wants to know what note it goes on. Okay, so we're gonna crescendo and then decrescendo, starting here. All right, awesome. And now I want to see where's the tremolo. More? Is it an articulation? Okay. This is actually kind of cool. I don't really know what I'm doing, so it might be even cooler if you do know what you're doing. I'm convinced that somewhere I can find a. So I've got tuplets, measures, frame, text, lines. Okay. Well, is it in pitch? I don't know, but let's make this piano an octave lower. And okay. And let's, just for fun, let's hear what that sounds like. That's actually not terrible. There are, there are worse songs. But let's add an instrument. Let's add a concert snare drum. So how does this work? Edit drum set. Oh, okay. I guess it's telling me the rim shot is A and the snare is B. That's not a snare. Okay. So I'm not sure why the piano. Oh, maybe I have to play this B. Oh, nice. What? Which B is this? There. Okay, great. Now, how did I select again? I think it was like shift, right? Oh, and I have to be off of notes. Okay. Now I want to add it. And let's do it down here. And I think I want like a rush of snare drums. No, not there. Okay, so that's not where I wanted it. I wonder if I can grab it and move it down here. Nope. All right, so if I grab it, maybe not. So I want to be here. There we go. Now where's my snare drum? Yeah, I find this is not entirely intuitive, but All right, let's see what that sounds like. All right, how do I get this last? There you go. Sounds good. An accordion. I feel like this song needs an accordion part. Yeah. Yeah. This is basically just. I'll just dash them in here and see what it sounds like. All right, this is yeah. I mean, this is fun to play. It's kind of so it's kind of amazing that you can that you can do this at all. Somebody's made this this program and you can just download it to play around with. Okay, so I still don't know what a tremolo is in the code, or a buzz roll. Spadium change, cross staff beam between. Okay, there's just like a lot going on here. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna get out of engraving. I kind of want to see some of the other code. Learn, I'm going to assume is something about how to learn either MuseScore or how to learn music notation. So we've got focus, scope. This is like UI stuff, which is how about resources? Mark. Okay, you've got this guy. Maybe he's the teacher. And then internal playlist. Gradient stop. Maybe there's not a lot of comments, but maybe I can look at the whatchamacallits, the commit history. So it says implemented UI of learn page. So is this something I can do here? Tool. Is it under tools? Plugins, help, about, or is this part of the web page? Learn page. Okay. An app shell QML home. Okay. Let's take a look at this. Wait, no, I want the. I don't know how to make GitHub take me to the file. View file. There we go. So we've got doc page, the doc panel home menu. We've got cute no doc widget area. So this looks like Qt code, and we can maybe check that by Qt Quick. What is that? Is that related to Apple Quick? Like Playback? Qt Quick is a module. The Qt Quick module is the standard library for writing QML applications. Is QML like XML for Qt? The Qt modeling language is a user interface markup language. It is a declarative language similar to CSS and JSON for designing user interfaces. Oh, for designing user interface-centric applications. Okay, cool. All right, so this is defining whatchamacallit. It's defining a UI. And so one of the things it's defining is learn. Okay, we've got scores, add-ons, audio featured with a typo. I think this is in the UI. So this is something I would correct if I had a a GitHub login on this machine, but I don't think I do. In fact, I'm positive I don't. So, but where is this page? Because, home. Is this it? Yeah, this looks promising. Plugins. Get started. Learn. Okay, so this is the learn page that we were seeing. I'm going to guess it just pulls this stuff from the interwebs. So these are just, links to YouTube videos. And if we click on them, we get learning material. That is a really good idea. I'm glad to see that they seem to be taking very seriously the idea of teaching. First of all, teaching their users, that's good. But I think step one is there's a ton of open source apps where you'll have a problem when you look on a forum, and people will be like, well, why do you need to do that? I've never had to do that, so it doesn't make sense. But so that's there's kind of in a lot of open source apps, there's kind of a not always the same approach to user experience that you would see for a lot of maybe more commercial apps. But it seems like MuseScore is really trying to make it usable and also teach its users how to master things. So I think that's really nice to see. And it's got I was going to guess that this was training, but these are like plugins. Add courtesy accidentals. Okay. Courtesy accidentals, mirror intervals. And I don't know what any of this stuff is. Modal temperaments I do know. Oh, can I do like Pythagorean tuning? I don't know how to use this thing that I just did. So I've configured the scale, I guess, by essentially by not having any key signature, right? But how do I configure a mode? I have a feeling that this is going to be too much of a rabbit hole. Chord symbol. Can I have a chord symbol? Oh, Nashville numbers and lyrics. Okay, very cool. So how do I add lyrics? No note or rest selected. Okay, so if I select it, I'm going to add a Nashville symbol. So if I select something and I go to text, I guess that's one, right? And it plays it. Does it play when I play back? Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. But you know what this needs musically is this last thing is not what I want. What it needs is a trumpet. So where's trumpet? So we got flute. Oh, those are woodwinds. Free reed, brass. Yeah. We need a trombone, a tuba, and a B-flat trumpet for sure. And they're just going to play one note. Oh, it's being transposed. That's too hard for me. So if I do this, I want this. Okay. I still don't have the hang of like, I just want to select this and add a C. Oh yeah, it's a half, B flat. So it's a half step down, right? I guess. Is that the right note? Where's the trumpet here? Whoa now. So MuseScore just crashed with a segmentation fault. Can I move this over? I don't think I can show this. We get elf dynamic array reader.h 61 tag not found. Let's see if it remembers my song. Yes, I want to restore it. Oh, thank you. Okay. Right. So we've got this snare drums. And then I think I wanted this measure and a whole note. And then what is I don't read bass I don't read bass clef. So what is C? In bass it's in the second whatever hole. All right, let's hear how that sounds. Oh, whoa now. That trumpet shouldn't be there. So let's see if I can remember how to get rid of it. So do I hit N? And then I click on it and I delete? Let's try that. So okay. Yeah, so that's good. But you know what? While we're here, let's see if we can let's see if we can debug this thing. I'm not sure. I don't think this elf file is in MuseScore. It crashes when tying notes. Does it have the same tag not found? Yeah. So this seems like the same maybe the same bug. Has a score where MuseScore. What is this node? Okay, so I guess they've reproduced this. The file is no longer corrupted, but it crashes. So that I guess it seems like they know about it, and they can reproduce it. So it seems like there's not a lot for me, and not a lot of need for me to dig into figuring out what the issue was. Okay, so this is the learn page. So that's really cool. I like that a lot. More learn stuff. Instrument scene, QRC. So I guess this is, by scene they mean like the page, like what you might call a page if you were doing web development. So let's take a look at the instrument page. So this is the instruments I've selected. I have the ability to add, press up or down, which I guess moves it in the staff, and then delete it. So does this look right? Staff settings pop up, instrument on score view, family view, Instruments tree item delegate, instrument tree item control, instruments dialog. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is correct, if this is the right thing, but maybe it is. I think I would have to dig into those sub items, which I'm not going to do right now. So these are the instruments. Okay. And then I guess the other thing I want to see is just what where's like the MIDI stuff, and do they delegate out to another program to handle that? So we've got the notation. I don't think I looked at notation. I looked at engraving. We've got notation creators, notation errors, notation scene. I'm wondering, can I import like a raw MIDI file? And will it render it? Will it render it somehow? Certainly, I should be able to like dump this as a raw MIDI file, right? If I do save as to the cloud or on my computer, save to computer. I can save it as this MuseScore file. Save it to the desktop. I call it the MuseScore test. That's all well and good, but I'm wondering if I can maybe export main score into a PDF. Okay, so this is like exporting the engraving, but I want to export the MIDI file. Expand repeats, I guess it's asking me whether to expand the repeats, I guess is the only way to say it. Okay, so we've got these two files. Open with Music Brains Picard. Let's see. Can I do? There we go. All right. Let's open them in Emacs. Okay, so here is the .mid file, and it is not readable in Emacs. So I guess it's not a text format. But if I go into this other file, I've got MSS, which is score style, which I assume is kind of like CSS. Yeah, okay, so we've got style, and we've got things like min system spread, which I don't know what it is, lyrics position above, lyrics position below, basically where are the lyrics relative to the stuff, dividers. Okay, so they've got a bunch of different, I guess, knobs that you can turn to configure what the style looks like. All right. So that's so this is this file format. I guess is some sort of a container, probably a zip of some sort. Let's see if I can identify what kind of zip thing. Okay, it's a zip archive. So if I just do unzip, will it work? Yeah. Okay, cool. It's just a zip file. And what else? We've got a thumbnail image. We've got MSCX, which I'm going to guess is the real meat of the file, audio settings and view settings. What is audio settings? So this is a JSON file as opposed to the kind of XML stuff that they're using for other stuff. Okay, so solo mute. This looks like, so we've got a trombone. It's balanced at 0, I guess, so neither pan to the left nor pan to the right. Its volume dB is set to 0. So these are the sort of things that would show up on a, I think there's a mixer. These are the sort of things that would show up on a mixer. Do I get a mixing board? Yeah. So if I were to alter these, like pan, I think that would show up in the file I'm looking at, is my guess. And whether it's muted or soloed. Okay. No, I figured out I was in Emacs. No, okay. And so this, I think, is the real file, and it's XML. Okay. So it's a bunch of chords Oh, interesting. This is actually really interesting. So each measure gets its own stanza. And all right, so okay, so let's look at a particular measure. Maybe this one because there's a lot going on. Whoa, where's the end of the measure? Is there like an XML mode where I can? So, okay, so let's narrow to here. Yes, yes, Emacs. Okay, so so in measure we have a voice. Okay, and so where is voice closed? Voice is closed on here. Okay, and then okay, so in the voice we have chords. The voice doesn't seem configured at all, but I'm sure that there are ways of configuring it. And so in the chord, so highlighting this in this color makes it harder to read. But let's take a look at the chord. And it tells you the duration. So it's a 16th note, I guess is what that's telling you. The stem direction, which is down. So that's for rendering. And the note, the pitch is 38, which I don't know what that means. And TPC is 16. And that ends the chord. So this is like a really simple, this is a really simple format. I don't know how to read MIDI files. I don't know what Music Brain's Picard is. Oh, it's like a player. Okay. So I'm not sure about what the .mid file format is. I was assuming that that's like the standard text format from back in the 80s or 70s or whenever when they standardized MIDI. But it doesn't seem to be readable by Emacs. Wait, hang on. Wait a minute. Does Emacs have a MIDI mode? What? Many people are using Emacs for many music-related tasks. Well, great. I'll have to look at this later because this looks like this is like composing MIDI in Emacs, which is a fantastic idea. All right, so let's see, notation. Let's at least look for the word MIDI in here in the code base. Okay, so we've got MIDI export. We've got some tests for music XML, Fluid Synth, third party. Yeah, I'm wondering if they use Fluid Synth because that would make sense. Let's just do a search for Fluid Synth. So there's a bunch of stuff in third party. Is it all in third party? I don't think I can tell GitHub to ignore certain directories. So let me see. We've got the app shell, Autobot. Just curious what Autobot is. I don't know. Diagnostics, engraving, framework, import, export, inspector, instrument, scene, languages learned, multi-instances, notation, palette, playback, plugins, print, project, stubs, update. Oh, WASM. I guess they're testing WebAssembly. I'm guessing that it should be in playback controller. So what is playback and controller import? We've got modularity, async notification, async channel, global progress, notation, audio types, and actions. Maybe it's an audio. Did I miss an audio directory? Maybe it's in playback. measure and beat fields, mixer fader selection, playback tool bar actions, audio resource control. Okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't want to MuseScore. How to compile. Oh, code structure on wiki. All right. Here we go. Audio overview. Okay, so here's the audio system. We've got an RPC channel. Is that RPC as in remote procedure call? So the application has a main thread. It's got a playback controller, an RPC sequencer, and an RPC mixer, and a mixer UI. I feel like I need to know what RPC means in this context. Declare send RPC. Google Crashpad client. What is Google Crashpad? It's crash reporting. Okay. Maybe MuseScore RPC. Rework audio RPC system. But what is an RPC? Reasons for reworking the RPC system. Interaction should be in both directions, not just one. It is necessary to transfer not only simple types, but also objects as arguments. In this case, objects can be serialized or not, depends on the platform, and the implementation of the RPC system for this platform. So RPC server, IRPC. This kind of sounds like it's really doing IPC, inter-process communication. But that I'm fine with calling that RPC if that's what's going on. So I'm going to assume that by RPC it just means it has some mechanism for doing for sending messages between processes, and we're going to sequence and mix those messages. I guess because they're audio messages, and then we've got an RPC channel or maybe an IPC channel, and then RPC controllers, which I'm going to guess is maybe like the RPC server. At any rate, the audio worker thread is doing the heavy lifting, and the application thread is basically telling the audio worker thread what to do. And then we've got an audio driver thread, which has a first in, first out buffer and an audio driver. Okay. And we've got this sequencer, and it's connected to audio players and MIDI players. And MIDI players, I guess, have synthesizers. And that goes into processors and effects, and everything's synchronized by a clock. And for some reason, the clock goes from the mixer to the sequencer. And then after the mixer, so these processors, I guess, are like individual channels. Like this might be my oboe channel. This is my piano channel, and this is my accordion channel. And then we're going to go into the mixer. This is all going to be mixed into like stereo, I assume, or quad, if you have a quadraphonic setup from the 70s. And then there's going to be post like mix down processors. Like you might have a limiter, or you might want to slap echo on everything. And then that's the thing that gets output into the buffer and into the audio driver. I guess that's what I'm assuming this diagram is telling me. Okay, so main application, we've got controls. This is basically the control plane. Audio worker, we're here generate and mix audio data. Okay, and in the audio drivers here, we're actually requesting audio data to play, and they're all in 3 separate threads. That seems like a nightmare to me to synchronize. So it could be that it really is a nightmare, and that's the hard part of making something as polished as MuseScore. Or it could be that it's less of a nightmare than I'm assuming. I've never worked in music software, which kind of has this real time requirement that like in web software, if you're you can jitter things by a few milliseconds, and mostly nobody will notice. But if you're doing audio and video playback, and like your trumpet sounds like a few milliseconds earlier than it's supposed to, then you have a problem. Oh, okay. Here we go. Remote procedure call. Yeah. Okay. So they use remote procedure calls. The remote call procedure is probably a typo for remote procedure call, which I'm going to assume is basically a form of IPC. So audio engine. Cool. Yeah, this looks really good. This is a cool project. There's something a little bit nice about seeing the notation. It would be cooler if it had a piano roll, which I think they had in earlier versions, and they're working on adding back to this. But I guess the vision I would really like to see is I would like to see a world in which all of the open source music software is maybe more integrated. Like if I've got something cool going on in the score, it might be nice to be able to import that somehow into LMMS, or otherwise have LMMS and this communicate in a way that they kind of their features maybe build on each other. Or alternately, if you're making a beat in LMMS, it might be nice to be able to pull up the like a rendered version of the notation, so you might be able to get like a different sense of the song if you're looking at the notation. So I think that some of that is possible. Like Jack is software that kind of ties together different open source music software. But yeah, so this is really cool. I hadn't played around with this before. Let's go ahead and hear our composition again before we leave, and then I'm gonna head out. All right, cool. All right, thanks.